Hello everybody and welcome back. In this episode we will have a closer look at the Condor fishing drone and how it compares to our trusty DJI Phantom 3 drone here. Now the Condor is one of the cheapest fishing drones out there and it sells for around 1,300 New Zealand dollars new. This is much less than the competition. Like for example, a basic splash drone costs more than twice as much. Our Phantom 3 drone here cost us only 500 New Zealand dollars and we purchased that second hand with 2 batteries for that price, and it was well worth the investment as we have caught lots of fish and we filmed some really good footage with it as well, and most importantly we had a lot of fun with it. Now we've been fishing with our drone for a few years and we also made our own DIY bait release for it. Now to compare the two drones with each other, we met up with Neil, who recently purchased a Condor drone and he was happy to let us have a look at it. This is Neil. Hi Neil.
There.
Nice to
G'day,
meet you.
Mark, and you too.
Yeah, very good. And Neil bought himself a Condor drone. I'm really excited actually to have a closer look at the Condor drone and see, how that compares to the Phantom drone.
I think it'll be good for me too, because this is new to me and hearing your experience is only going to make it better for me.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't actually used it for fishing?
I haven't
so
used
far,
it for
so,
fishing. I've
yeah.
taken it up for 2 flights
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
local park, and that's as far as I've got.
And was it pretty easy to fly?
It's a really simple drone to fly.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It goes a bit faster than I wanted it to,
Okay.
particularly flying into the sun. I lost sight of it.
Right. Well, let's have a look at the two drones, eh? The first thing to note is that the drones are quite similar in size, weight, and they also look very similar to each other. My old Phantom drone, I've been using that for many years now, and it looks like that as well. So when I fly my drone, basically with this controller on the Phantom 3, you always have to use your mobile phone, right? You can't control it without mobile phone, really. I've got 2 batteries for that one, and each battery lasts me usually for about 20 minutes, which equates to about 3 to 4 casts on each battery.
Yep.
If I don't go too far, maybe 200-300 meters or so, otherwise maybe only 2 casts. Propellers, you screw them on, and basically the Phantom 3 is not a dedicated fishing drone, right? Let's have a look at the Condor, what that looks like.
First of all, the Condor, we have to fold the legs down.
Oh yeah?
It has a forward and a back. This is the reverse, the back of it, so it's going to fly in that direction.
Okay. Weight-wise, it's very similar. It's actually a little bit more lightweight than the Phantom, I would say, but not much. Very, very similar in terms of weight. According to the specs on the Condor drone, it can carry up to 800 grams for up to 1 kilometer offshore. Now our Phantom drone here has a maximum payload capacity of 1 kilogram, but for safety I would not recommend to exceed the 800 gram either. So as you can see, in terms of payload capacity, power and size, the drones are almost identical. According to the Condor manual, 1 battery charge gives you about 4 casts at a 400 meter distance. Now with our Phantom 3 drone here, we get very similar results. So there's also no notable difference in battery capacity. If you decide to buy a Condor drone, we would recommend that to get at least 1 more extra battery to increase your fishing time. One thing to keep in mind is that both drones are not waterproof. That means you cannot fly them in rain, and if crashed in water, they will most likely be ruined. But honestly, this has never been an issue for us in all those years. We think that if you crash a drone 500 meters offshore, you probably won't get it back anyway. The only real advantage for having a waterproof drone is that you can fly it on rainy days when the fishing is often quite good. Now, if you really wanted a waterproof drone, then a splash drone would be a good choice for you. But you gotta keep in mind though that you have to pay a premium price for this feature. Now, being a dedicated fishing drone, the Condor comes with a bait release out of the box. Now this release is also known as a tension release, and the way it works is that you clip your line into this release and fly your baits out with the bail arm of your reel in the open position so that the line can come out freely. And When you want to drop your bait, you close the bail arm and the sudden tension just will pull the line out from this release and your baits drop into the sea. Then you can just hit the return to home button on your controller and bring the drone back to your launching point.
That's it.
So this is the release clip here. So this is basically, they're like two steel balls with springs on each side. So here's a spring, and two balls. They basically push this together and have a certain tension on it. And when that tension is reached, it will release. So now I think the most important thing is to always keep this part clean so it doesn't get corroded or doesn't block up. But I like this particular part. I might get myself some of those too. All you do is you fly the drone forwards. The sinker is hanging here, and as soon as you basically set your drag or you
just flick your bail arm.
flick your bail arm and you have your drag set, it just releases and falls down. And then all you do on this one is you just hit the return to home button.
And that turns, the drone turns, comes back and stops above where it took off, and then lowers it. So they recommend then to take it over by pushing that home button again, it's then into manual.
Okay.
And you can bring it down quicker than the home does. The home is very careful bringing it down. So you can bring it down hand capture to try and keep sand out of the motors and to save battery. So I have hand caught it a couple of times. The first time was pretty scary because those propellers are going pretty fast.
In terms of comparison, I mean, size-wise and weight-wise, they're quite similar. It's just that this has a whole lot more features specifically for the bait release and for fishing.
And I think for simplicity. Take it up, take it that way. Hit the bail arm, push a button, and wait for the next one. Then start winding.
Now for our Phantom 3 here, we had to make our own release, which was very easy to do. We made it out of chopsticks. But you can also buy commercially made releases. For example, the Gannet bait release costs you about $100. Now, so in terms of releasing the bait, as you've seen, the drones are very similar to each other as well, except that the Condor drone already comes with a release and you don't have to buy it separately or even have to make it yourself. The biggest difference between the two drones is in the controllers. What I really like about the Condor is that you don't need your phone to fly the drone at all. Everything you need is on the controller. The controller shows you basic flight parameters such as the height, the distance, satellite connections, and it has a return to home button. The information is displayed on a simple LCD screen directly on the controller.
So we're going to turn this on, switch on, and we're going to turn the power on the drone. So in here now it's telling us that the GPS is connected and that there are 14 satellites that it's connected to, and the battery life is 20 minutes.
Okay.
We're at 0 meters speed, height, we're at sea level. 10 or more times it'll come into compass. So now we have compass calibrate.
Now, not having to connect your mobile phone saves you time setting up the drone and makes things a little bit easier. Now guys, this is definitely an advantage of the Condor drone, and this also makes it more beginner friendly for first-time drone users, as there are fewer options than you have on the DJI's mobile drone app.
The first time should come around and then this should go solid instead of flashing.
Okay.
And these will become green and flash, and we'll, we'll do it this way first, I think. And now this way. And that should put these green ones solid.
Right, okay.
So now it's ready to go.
Calibrated.
This is the back, so it will fly in that direction.
So what I normally do is I just have this rubber band here on my sinker and attach that to my drone. But I want to try this, what is it called, like a release thing, release wire that came with the Condor. In order to use that, I just put a little swivel with a clip here on my sinker. Bigger one goes on the drone, so I just clip that onto the smaller end now. This will clip into the drone for the tension release. We got some salted anchovies. I'm gonna put those on the hook now. Got 2 hooks. and then fly those out and see what happens, eh?
We pull both of these levers down at diagonal corners.
Okay, yep. Same like the Phantom actually, same system.
What you can never do is when it's flying do that, it'll turn it off.
Okay.
It will crash.
Alright, yeah. Yep.
I'll hit the return to home now, and we
Yep.
should see it turn.
You see we've got 12 meters.
And it's pretty close to the spot, isn't it? To stop it, you use this one button.
Yeah.
It's saying, but only one, not both.
Yeah, yeah.
One.
I believe if you hang on.
So, do you think we should connect it?
Yeah, we should give it a try. So we just clip this in, as we've shown you before. There we go. Long way to reel in. That's
There will be.
400 meters.
It's gone, I think.
Oh, is it? I'm flying it back manually now. If you fly it manually back, then it saves you some battery too from the return to home button. I normally only use the return to home when I can't see it anymore. There we go. Now another big difference is that the Condor drone has no camera. And this is a real deal breaker for us, honestly, as we often use our Phantom drone to check out a beach from the air. We got a nice little camera on our Phantom drone here. This is really useful to find holes and channels and see where the deeper blue water starts and where the waves are breaking. The built-in DJI camera produces good footage and the image transmission to the mobile phone is quite good. So having eyes in the sky is often really helpful when checking out a new fishing spot. And if you're not fishing, then you can still use the drone for filming. So many of our aerial views and our fishing spot videos that you can find on our channel were all filmed with the Phantom 3. The biggest downside on the Phantom 3 is that it is no longer officially supported by DJI, unfortunately. And you can only buy one second-hand these days. An alternative drone to look at would be the newer DJI Mavic Air, which also makes a great fishing drone, but it's also a little bit more expensive. So guys, what do you think? Is it worth buying a Condor drone versus a second-hand Phantom 3 drone? Let us know in the comments down there why you would get one drone over the other. And if you think that the Phantom 3 is a good drone for fishing, then why not check out this video up here? We show you how you can make a super cheap tension bait release with just a cloth pack. It works really good, guys. Thanks so much, Neil, for showing us the Condor. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got on the end of the line.